Hey racers, welcome back to the channel. In today's video I'm going to tell you about how I've come to qualify for the Le Mans Esports Series of 2020. I'm going to be competing in the finals in less than a week's time and I'm super excited, and I thought this would be a good opportunity just for me to run some casual laps against AI in one of my favourite cars of all time, the Mercedes CLK GTR, and I can talk you through my little history in Forza, how I've come about becoming a finalist for Le Mans, what it means to me personally, and what we're hoping to do there, along with some really funny stories of what happened on the day that I qualified, because there was a bit of mischief from other drivers. One who was a blatant cheater, who I'm not too sure I'm going to call them out just yet, we'll see. But for now, let's crack on with the race. So it's just in stock cars, no tuning allowed, but I'm sure it's going to be a bunch of fun anyway. Beast of a car this in R class, and I'm really glad because in Forza 7 it's actually a much more competitive car, I'd say. In Forza 6 divisions and homologations didn't really mean anything, whereas they do now. And of course, look, we're up against other complete legends of the 90s and early 2000s, I think, or it might just be 90s, but all in all up against other Le Mans legends of this era. But I'm going to stick in the CLK. It's a beautiful sounding car, a beautiful looking car. As we get a little bit tail happy there. Bumped from behind, I think. One of the few cars in the game that actually sounds awesome in the cockpit as well. We know that the sounds get muffled, but yeah, it's going to be a fun car just to drive around in, and I'll tell you all about the one. So enough of the car. So why Le Mans? Why did I want to compete for it? So to explain that, I need to give you a little backstory. So I joined Forza, the Forza community, in like mid 2016. So that was after a good year that the game had already been out, and the reason why I joined over is because I used to play on the 360. I had friends, they eventually moved over, and they wanted me to do the same. And after a couple of months of egging me on, I finally bought into it. So I got myself an Xbox One, and that was that. So I began playing for a couple of months, noticed that I was doing a pretty good pace. Because on PGR4 I used to actually set a few world records, and the skills for the most part did actually carry over, I think. It was just there's a lot more nuance to a game like Forza if you come from a complete arcade racer like... I think we can take defensive one here. This is our corner, this is our corner. I don't want the Lotus or Diablo beating us here. It's early days, take up positions, not lose them. But yeah, so a lot more nuance in the game, but I've shown some promising pace. And the funny thing is, whenever you start a new game, you really can't assess how good you are compared to everyone else, because you go in multiplayer lobbies and you beat some people and you're like, oh wow, like, I'm the dog's balls. I'm really good. And then out of nowhere, a true player, someone who's very experienced at the game, comes about, knocks your socks off, and pretty much sends you down the ladder and makes you realise that just how slow you are, or at least how far you've got to go to be a good player. And so that happened to me. And when Forza RC, the Forza Racing Championship, when Season 2 come about, which was for the Audi events, Season 1 actually I took part in first, but in the last week of qualifying. So this was the Ford Championship of Forza RC, and I took part in week 3. That was the Ford GTLM. Let's try a little cheeky little dive, see if we can beat them at their hairpin. Yeah, just about. We'll take it. Yeah, so Ford GTLM. I remember the hot lap challenge was at Watkins Glen. I remember for the hot lapping challenge I qualified at around top 60 or top 70. So nothing majorly impressive, but for someone who'd only been on for like a few months, I was like, yeah, that's not too bad. Done some of the 1v1 challenges, managed to beat one person, but then I got beaten, sent into the losers bracket, and got beaten again. So I basically finished at around 60. Only a couple of months later, then we had Season 2 go on, which was the Audi Championship. And I've done a lot better there. I managed to improve a lot, despite still being a privateer. So the best that I managed to do was actually qualify like in the top 30s of a challenge with like a Audi wagon around Brands Hatch, so really not a suited car. I don't know what the heck Diablo's doing. This is supposed to be unbeatable AI as well, but never mind. Yeah, so I managed to qualify in like the top 30, tied for top 33, and actually won some money out of it, which was brilliant. And then obviously, you know, the following year, 2017, we're going to be the Forza RC Season 3 at Le Mans. So that was the first opportunity to go to Le Mans. That's what I wanted to do. I began competing. I'd been picked up by JSR by that point with the intention of competing in Le Mans, representing them. And I was doing okay for some of the challenges. I remember I was doing times that were very comparable to JSR Lee Campbell. And getting very tail happy. So you really need a setup for the CLK to make it work, but it's still really fun to try it as it is. See if we can catch up to third place, grab ourselves a podium. But yeah, so we're doing similar times to Lee Campbell and whatnot, but unfortunately, like 2017 was a really rough year for me in terms of health. So I've had multiple health conditions my whole life actually, pretty much. Since I was a teenager, I've been having issues with asthma, with IBS, having chronic fatigue, and then things like anxiety and depression. So I've had a completely mixed bag, and basically it all just came together in 2017. Life was quite a mess, and it meant that I couldn't travel to France, so I had to give up the competition really early, which was a shame. And it's still a sour note to me, because that was one of the opportunities that I really know that I could have stood a chance of not winning by any means, but you know, making a name for myself, going to a really high profile event, especially a LAN event. So I was really bitter about that, and it left me quite depressed, the fact I couldn't make that, to the point that I stopped playing Forza 6. So pretty much, you know, just stepped back from it for 6 months, and then Forza 7 come out. I didn't bother buying that game for like a year because the quality of the game at launch was just shocking. So I was out for a really long time, and then it was only with news of the Le Mans Esports series that I got interested again. So that's what pulled me back in last year. I wanted to compete for that, but you know, bear in mind, if you think about it, I was out from playing competitively for a good like 18 months, if not a little longer, and the truth is, the game became way more competitive by that point. So there were people in Forza 6 who I wouldn't even like blink an eyelid over. You know, by the time I returned, they're challenging me or beating me, and I realised that, wow, like, even though I have not lost the pace I had in Forza 6, compared to how much faster everyone else in general has got, it's kind of knocked me down the order a bit. So it was really hard to compete in Season 1 for Le Mans. I was only getting in like the top 20 on some of the events, but never enough to get in the top 10, and then obviously be in the races. So yeah, so that was tough, but it was kind of motivating at the same time. It just left me with a lot of pressure, because I was like, if I can't find a way to compete in a really high profile event and do something where there's either a once in a lifetime experience or a really good amount of money, I don't think I can stick on Forza anymore, because otherwise it honestly just gives me more distress than joy in playing it. So which is honestly how I felt. So that was the mission, get to Le Mans. Didn't happen in Season 1. Oh, sorry, Nissan. Oh, look at that, he's got more pull than us. He's going to beat us, I think, to the corner. Yeah. Second place isn't going to be that easy. But yeah, so Season 1 was a bit of a miss. Season 2, though, I think I improved my pace a lot by that point. There's still a lot of work to do. There's still a lot of work to do now, let's be honest. Because being the top 30 player now, I'd say, is harder than being the top 30 player back on Forza 6. But anyway, yeah, so Season 2, realised that, well, I can even do the online qualifiers, which I know I could get top 10 times for Europe. The question is, can I get the number 1? Or do I bag it all on Le Mans Esports qualifying event live in Birmingham at the Autosport International? So I set my eyes on that without any experience on a wheel, got myself a wheel, practiced for 3 days straight leading up to the weekend, Then I headed over to Birmingham, got up at 5 o'clock in the morning, got a train from London to Birmingham, and that was that. Get there, I see Aiden and Luke, they're already in the queue, they're going to get their second round on the qualifier than me. So it's really funny, you had to wait for like 15 to 20 minutes in the queue at a time. And then when you get on one of the rigs, you've only got 3 laps to qualify. So it just goes in the blink of an eye. You know, and to try and qualify doing your personal best lap, merely, oh jeez, this Nissan's coming along, R390, we might have to take a defensive line whilst we brake here. Yeah, that's it, trail brake, come on over. We might even make it to the Nissan in front of us, if we're lucky through the Porsche curves later on, we'll see. But yeah, so, really hard to qualify basically. I was really nervous as well, because I thought, if I finish 3rd on the Saturday, I'm not going to be there the whole weekend, so someone might knock me off the leaderboard on the Sunday. So I felt like I really had to pull it out the bag. So I had my first go. First lap was obviously like a warm-up. Second lap felt really shoddy because basically all the assists were actually on. Imagine having traction control, stability, ABS on, you got the full line, everything on, when I like to play with everything off, you know, and I practiced on the wheel with everything off as well, so it was really hard. And then on top of that had it was just really weird setup. You couldn't see the settings for the actual wheels that they had there, and oh, can we get the dive, can we get the dive, come on. Oh, quite aggressive defence in there. Oh, we'll see how this turns out. Quite fun stuff. But yeah, basically, it was really hard. You couldn't see the wheel settings. So second lap was a complete mess, and then the third lap, I got like an okay lap. I thought like most stuff was hooked up pretty well. Turns out it was the best lap. The guys asked me that, are you a pro driver? Because we can't count your lap time. And I said, no, I've come from London. They didn't believe me. So I just got really lucky on my first lap. It was really close to what I practiced at home. Whoa, jeez, sorry, Mr. Nissan. We're gonna win the dirty way. But yeah, and then I only had to try a couple more times, and then I set a lap time that was just so comfortable that I knew it would finish either like in first place or second. So that was good stuff. Ooh, jeez. And yeah, that was that really. So managed to qualify for the event. Really funny little story though. So there was one person from another team that was competing there, a team called VP, and basically their team were there for the reason, well, let's see if we can win whilst in the pit. This would be a funny one. Oh no, we're going to lose it. Oh no, can we keep the pony? Oh, just about. But yeah, so they were competing with the pro teams live in Birmingham, but their racing manager or their coach was basically trying to qualify as well, which was like through the same way as me, which was really cheeky if you think about it. And on top of that, Aiden and Luke noticed that this guy, whilst he was racing and no one was looking, he would try and go into the menus and take all the assists off. So he would try and change the settings, literally trying to cheat his way to win, which was really scary because previously he was the one with the fastest lap because he had been there since Friday. So I knocked off his time, and then he was trying to cheat the whole day. And then even when the stewards found out, they would warn him and tell him, no, you can't do that. And then he would keep on trying, and he would try and jump the queue and everything like that. So, you know, he's left a very sour image of VP in my eyes, to be honest. But yeah, so basically that's how I qualified for the event. And in terms of how I think it's going to go, well, I'm really looking forward to it because I'm teamed up with Handicap, who's from Williams, previously from FRF, super fast player from South America, and we've got FCT Ryuk, who I'm really confident in him. I think he'll surprise people with his pace, especially in GT and LMP cars for sure. So our team's a bit of an underdog. We're against some true monsters of the game, a lot of top 10 and top 20 players, but we're going to give it our all. I'm looking forward to it, and yeah, I suppose when it comes to it next week, I'll then reveal which races I'm doing. But I really hope you guys tune in and support me because you know, it's my biggest opportunity ever in Forza, so it might be the biggest one that I'll ever have. I don't know if I'll do a Forza Racing Championship whenever it comes up, so please root for me when it does go live. It will be on Tuesday next week. You have to find it on YouTube or Twitch or any other medium. It'll probably be covered by the official Esports channel or by Motorsport Games or motorsport.net, I think. But yeah, I want you to tell me in the comments what type of racing are you looking forward to the most at Le Mans. Is it the GT cars? Is it the Le Mans prototypes? For me, I love the prototypes more than anything else. But yeah, I really look forward to hearing what you think. I hope you enjoyed this story about how I come about to compete in Le Mans. I'm so thrilled to take part in it, and I'm really hoping that I can really show off some good skill and basically prove to people like why I was put up in JSR in the first place, because I never got to really put it to the test in past competitions. And yeah, I hope you enjoy watching me race. So thank you very much for tuning in, guys. I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you're not subscribed already, please make sure that you do. Give this video a massive thumbs up, and I'll see you in the comments. Have a great day, guys. Take care.